I'm gonna make a couscous dinner, hot or cold. It's summertime, so this can be used either way. And I'm going to use it cold because we're having a little party tomorrow here, and my wife's doing a lot of things. So I go, since I'm making the recipe, make enough and put it out also with the other items. I'm using this tricolored couscous. Why? Because even though it says on there tomato and spinach for the color, can you really taste it? But the color's there anyway. And I'm going to add a lot more color and a lot of vegetables. Chicken. The vegetables, the celery and carrots are cut brunoise, small dice. Garlic, carrots, celery, onion. Breast of chicken over there. And towards the very end, and I mean really at the end, those items will be cooked together. Then at the very end, I'll put this in. Since it's going to be a salad, things should be a little crunchy. And even if it's hot, it can be al dente. That's the pistachio nuts and the 3 different pepper colors. And then when that's done, this I'll toss in and then put it into a serving bowl. Well, mix the couscous with it. It looks like a lot of ingredients, but you do know that when we start cooking, things shrink. And if the couscous is not enough for the amount of solid, I'll make adjustments on the recipe so you'll have no problem. And then we have fresh cilantro and puree of basil. That pureed with olive oil. I always keep that handy in the freezer, and that'll be tossed in at the end also. So as I started this recipe on the fly, because I just said, let me see what I can make from some things that I have in the house or that I went shopping or whatever. And it took some time for prepping. So if you're not handy with a knife, there's a way to get around this. If you should have a Cuisinart, not a blender. You have that pulse on the Cuisinart, and what it does is throws the vegetable around. You pulse it a few times, put the vegetables in there in larger pieces like so, and after running it a few times around and around and around, not to puree it because then it'll be all watery, you'll have something similar to this. So, and over here there's the water or stock, and I'm using water. I'm going to bring that to a boil. The second it comes to a boil, we'll throw the couscous in there, give it a mix, put that nice tight lid on it, and be very careful. Don't really reduce this water or you're not going to have enough for the amount of couscous that's going in there. So let's get started. Everything is ready. All I have to do is like saute the chicken with these vegetables, put a little salt and pepper in there, and actually that's the easiest part. Well, the water's just about ready, and while, see, I'm not going to start cooking anything until the couscous is done. I mean, not done, but in there and the lid is on it, and then otherwise I might be cooking here and going, oh my god, I have to cut the couscous in there now, but you're busy over there. So best thing to do, make the couscous, then go ahead and start cooking the vegetables. And as soon as I see those little bubbles, as you can see, that means the water is hot, and it's not going to get any hotter than what it is. We're going to put the couscous in there. So I have 2 cups. Of course, the 2 cups are going to turn into 4 cups when it's done. And I think with the vegetables, what I have, and the chicken, things should work out, hopefully. Usually I'm pretty good on that, but you never know. Okay, you got steam, you got bubbles, and you have the couscous in there. I'm going to shut the flame off so that I stir it like so. And goodbye. Now we'll proceed over here. There we have the flame on. You can either put butter in there or your favorite oil. I'm not going to tell you what I'm using because some people don't like the fact that I use olive oil in cooking, but you know what? I'm not cooking with high heat, and it's a waste of the olive oil, so I happen to have plenty of it, and it's just easier to use olive oil for everything, and then later we're going to add more anyway. That's just meat. And we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of the salt and pepper mix. And hopefully that might be enough for the entire dish, since we have a little bit of salt in the couscous. But I will say no to that. You probably have to put a little more seasoning in there. As far as the hot part of it, you can put some red pepper flakes in there, black pepper, cayenne pepper. I'm going to use a little black pepper. I'm going to use a little sriracha hot chili sauce. I love that stuff. So we have this high flame, and it's not going to really brown, but the chicken won't take long at all. As long as you use, for this recipe, for the amount, you notice, it just covers the skillet, which is good. If you had a skillet that was a little bit smaller, take much longer time. Then you would probably do it in 2 batches. I think this is a 7-quart, or is it a 4-quart, or is it a 5-quart? I don't know. But it's going to hold everything. And don't peek at the couscous. Just leave it alone. Come back to it after you're done cooking this, because you know this is going to take... How about that? I have the camera in the wrong place. So what we have here is an error on my part. But what I did was put everything into this skillet, and it's been cooking for about a minute or so. A very high flame, but since you got a lot of water in celery and in onions, it'll take a little time for it to brown, which I'm not looking for. And forgive me for screwing up the beginning of this saute, but it was nothing. The oil was hot. I threw everything in, and I'm just stirring it. And this is going to take the longest, which is actually a short time as far as cooking in general goes. So you make this, you either eat it today, or you just reheat it tomorrow, or serve it tomorrow as the salad, which I'm going to do. I'm going to put a bed of, in a nice looking, like spaghetti bowl, put these field greens or romaine or iceberg lettuce or whatever you like into it, and up the side a little, and then just pour the finished couscous in there. I'm going to put in, for me, everybody likes different dressings. I'm putting just balsamic vinegar and extra virgin olive oil. That's it. Now I could taste this now, and if it's enough salt, that doesn't mean it's going to be enough salt in the whole mix, because we do have a lot of other ingredients to go in there, which will pull, let's say, the salt out of this, and you won't have the seasoning that we have now. That's very good. You could eat this just the way this is over a bowl of rice. I always have just one corner of that pan right there, that side. I guess it wasn't sitting centered on the heat, which browns on me. Wow, that tastes good just the way it is. And that's without all of the other great ingredients that are going in here. Now you look for the largest piece of chicken, the largest piece that you have in there. Get it? And you just bite it. And say, let's cook. Low the flame. We don't need it so high now. And let's get those peppers in there. And now when I'm going to taste it, it's not enough salt. You just added items, so you got to season what you just put in. About a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon, whatever. Stir this up good. And this in itself, right here, put this over a bowl of rice too. Even better. The more we add, the better it gets. And the colors get a little brighter when you cook the peppers. At least they do to me. And we're going to put in there the cilantro. Now I'm shutting off the flame. Now, there is a problem. The problem is, I'm not going to add cold items into this that won't be heated up. So what do we have here now? We have something that's partially finished. And what we're going to do is, you think 5 minutes have passed for the couscous? I think so. Let's turn the camera onto the couscous and find out where it is, somewhere over there. Hopefully, look nice. Usually the directions that are on the package of the Mediterranean couscous like this, I like this much better than the Israeli one, those little balls. Now, this is going to be a salad, so you want the mix to look a little shiny. So later when it cools down, that's how it's going to, what are we going to do now? We're going back to the pot, and we're going to add the couscous to this. Both items are hot. There's no problem with anything going sour. So remember, never mix hot with cold unless you're going to cook it together. And now I'm feeling that was plenty of couscous. Sure, why not? We have some vegetables we're going to add. Now what do you do with this now? We have to put this into the refrigerator. So I'm going to wait. I don't like putting hot into the refrigerator. I will wait about 20 minutes. And I'm still going to use something else to put in, which I will show you. You want things to cool off quickly. You put them on something large and flat, like so. So the ingredients will be very thin in the pan and cool off very quickly in the refrigerator. So, should I show you what I'm going to do? Usually what happens when I show something like this I spill everything all over the place because I'm in a rush, so I won't be in a rush. Take this. Look at that, nice and flaky, good. That means what it said on the box of couscous, the liquid to couscous was 1:1, which is correct. And we left it there without touching it. Because if you try and look at it and it's not done, you just let out a lot of steam and you lessen the cooking of that. Now, are we going to wrap this up when we put it in the refrigerator? No way. I'll wait about 15 minutes. I'll put it in and then we'll resume the recipe. Now, you know, this looks good right now, just the way it is. But when we add this, it'll look even better. So I'm putting this in the refrigerator to keep it nice and cold for when that's going to be cold. And then we'll put them together. And then we'll check again for the seasoning. And if it doesn't look shiny enough, you don't want to go crazy with the olive oil or the vinegar. Or you can put Italian dressing in, whatever you like. I wouldn't put French dressing or Russian dressing. So we'll come back very shortly. Now it's cold. We'll add the rest of the items. Mix it up. Give it a final taste. Appearance has to look. And if I feel that there is not enough of certain items in here, I will just increase it on the recipe. That's good. That worked out nice. I think the ratio of solids to couscous is pretty good. So we put a little balsamic vinegar in there. This goes a long way, so not a lot. And to give it some heat, put some sriracha hot sauce. And a little more olive oil, virgin olive oil. Since it's a salad, let it be a little bit shiny. And then we will taste it. I don't want anybody accusing me of double dipping, so I'll taste it with this. Just a little bit more salt. Just salt and pepper mix. So nice and handy. And that looks pretty. And that's just a little bit. I'm going to have some greens, and tomorrow the rest will be used for the party. I hope you enjoy this, hot or cold.